So, you want to talk about the Avengers, because you're obsessed with them, even though they're all shit. Don't answer. The video's finished now. Joking. Joking I am. Joking I am!
The film we're going to watch tonight. The Interview I haven't seen.
It's good. It's
You
very
said it
fun.
was really good.
It is good. But no, in all seriousness, we went to see the Avengers 2. Back in the Habit. And what did you think of it?
It was good.
Okay, I'll give you my opinion now. So, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. It's not stuck in my mind. It's not memorable. It'll disappear and they'll reboot it in a few years and everyone will forget it ever existed. That's my kind of opinion. It wasn't a bad film. It was, in fact, a good film, but not memorable. It's just more
No.
action hero fodder. Just churning it out, churning it out, churning it out, churning it out.
Would you say the first film was memorable? The first Avengers film one?
More so than that one, I think. Yeah. Yeah. The bad guy was Ultron guy. I don't know. He just didn't really do much.
He was funny.
Yeah, it was funny for a bit, but he didn't seem to have much screen time, and I don't know. And like, his plan was what? To build that. The spoilers here, so turn it off if you don't want to see spoilers. To build that thing in that machine that makes human DNA,
Yeah.
and it's just turned out to be a nice guy. I'm not wrong, am I? I was like the biggest fail ever. It's like, I'm going to make this thing. It's basically going to be me, but made of flesh. So shitter than me, because he was indestructible.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then the guy turned out to be lovely. Just lovely. Polite.
Well spoken.
Strong. Worthy.
Worthy.
We don't want to say too many spoilers,
He
but...
picks up the hammer. And Quicksilver dies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I preferred Quicksilver in X-Men 2.
Oh, yeah.
4?
Without
No. X-Men 5.
5?
Well, there was X-Men 1, X-Men 2, X-Men 3.
Yeah.
X-Men, the kids.
First class.
And then X-Men, the last one. So X-Men 5. I prefer Quicksilver in X-Men
Unless you
5.
count the Wolverine films. They are X-Men. They are called X-Men as well.
Okay, then I prefer him in X-Men 7. He was better though, wasn't he? The X-Men one.
Oh yeah, that one scene he had, I can clearly remember that perfectly. It was just great.
Yeah, it was much better, much better. So,
But then, what you do with a character like that?
just get him to run round. Run.
He'd be a murder to write for, though, wouldn't he? Because there'd be no one who can stop him.
Well, no, you just write, he's running around, isn't it, on the script. So Magneto would be picking up metal, and then it would say, like a side note, Quicksilver's,
Already finished everything.
yeah, bombing around. Doing a painting, having some cheese, driving a golf cart, opening a jar that's really hard to open. He doesn't have any strength, though, does he? He's just fast. Can he open pickle jars that are, like, really too hard for even, like, you know, your uncle to do?
Depends.
It depends on if you know the answer. Is that what it depends on? It depends on if you know the answer, which you don't.
Well, he's going so fast, he's probably
What?
he's probably really strong as well, isn't he?
Because he's fast.
Yeah, right. Well, if he punched you at 1,000 miles an hour,
Yeah,
your head's going to come off. So surely, if he turns really quick, the jar will smash.
No, but it's directly related to the amount of force applied to it, isn't it? It's not going to be...
Not if he turns his hand at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, but if it doesn't matter what the speed would be. If he's gripping onto the lid of the pickle jar
and then turns his hand
and
super
turns it, but he
quick.
doesn't have the strength to actually physically grip on hard enough, all he's going to do is turn his hand really quick. He still needs the physical Newton force in order to turn that thing, regardless of his speed.
Yeah, but as long as he's got a good grip strength.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He'd have to have the physical strength to turn that
Yeah.
pickle jar.
Anyone can have
Maybe if he started spinning his hand really quick and then grabbed it, he might be able to loosen it, and then I could, open the rest.
So friction's the problem. He'd be able to go and flip a car, like.
What?
He'd be able to go and flip a car if he was going fast enough.
Yeah, but surely it would affect his body, isn't it? It would, it would be the same as me or you running into a car at that speed.
No, he's got what do you call it?
What's he got?
I don't know.
Good point, well made. We'll move on from there. So he's got something that stops him dying when he runs 1,000 miles an hour into things. That's what he's got.
Yeah.
Right.
Otherwise, it's like a drop of rain would just go through his skull.
Yeah, it would, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got a something. The same thing that Superman has that protects his clothes. No one can explain how his clothes don't rip. They just don't.
They're from his home planet.
What, they got super strong cotton, have they?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Let's talk about some other characters. So who else was new in it? Jean Grey? No, she wasn't in it.
In what film?
X-Men's... No,
She wasn't in that.
The Avengers 2.
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch.
She was a bit boring.
Yeah, prick in the beginning, wanted revenge for some crap, and then just realised that the revenge meant everyone on the planet would die. So she just changed her mind.
Who trusts that big menacing robot?
Nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
Were they both Russian? Scarlet Witch and her brother?
That was...
She didn't have a Russian accent though, and he did.
No, she was just really bad
Wow.
at doing it. He was rubbish as well.
Yeah, he was.
They were pretty bad accents.
What other memorable parts of it are in there? That Hulkbuster suit, that was quite a cool moment.
Yeah.
Iron Man in an Iron Man suit. Iron Man suit in an Iron Man suit, I should say.
Yeah.
I think I went to the toilet during the bit that she possessed the Hulk, because I just came out in and he was just beating the shit out of the Hulk.
No, you don't see that.
You don't see her possessing him.
No.
It's insane. So, what else happened in there? The bad guy's plan was just to lift a big rock up and drop it. That was a bit mad. It reminded me of Superman 3, I think. Do you remember Superman 3? No, you don't, because you've not seen any of the Superman films. Fucking arsehole.
I've seen them all.
How many are there?
If there's past, I don't think there's a fifth one.
Yes, there is a fifth one.
There is a fifth one.
Yes.
I haven't seen them all then.
Right, the card was full. So, this is part 2, even though it's going to be one video, so I can't be asked to upload 2. So, what are we talking about?
Films.
I know that. What specific thing were we at when we stopped talking, you douchebag?
I can't remember.
Superman. Something to do with Superman.
There is only 4 Superman films.
Yeah, I think so. I said 4.
You said 5.
Right.
Do you prefer watching a film in 3D?
No.
Or conventional
No.
2D?
2 dimensions.
Why?
Because I find the glasses a distraction. What's your preference? I know you're going to say 3D just to wind me up, but you actually think 2D is much better. What's your preference? I also feel in 3D you get the depth thing, which is way overused, but you lose the quality. You aren't seeing the full colours and everything. I feel like it's dumbed down slightly, because you're looking through glass, and obviously you're always aware of the rim around the outside. It just jars my balls. It just jars my balls.
I don't mind 3D. The type of films you're going to watch in the cinema are just fun films, aren't they? So 3D isn't going to spoil it for me. It doesn't really take me out of the film because you've got Thor throwing a hammer.
Yeah, but they do it just because it's in 3D, and it just does my head in. It's like, oh, this film's in 3D. Let's get Thor to throw a hammer at the screen, and then it'll come back to his hand. It's like, that whole segment of whatever they do is just designed because there's 3D there. And I mean, 3D has massively flopped. It's been a complete failure. 3D is in the cinemas. It's
Has it flopped in the cinema? I know it's flopped with TVs, but
yeah. I don't know. I'll have to look at sort of how popular 3D is compared to 2D in the cinema. But
I mean, all Marvel films will be 3D.
I mean, forever. Do you mean there's no way of knowing, is there? If it's flopped on TV, maybe that they'll just start carrying on making them in 2D. Because the problem is, if people aren't watching them in the house as well, if people aren't buying 3D DVDs and Blu-rays or whatever, then, you know, all that expense for people to see it just one time in the cinema, you know, it doesn't, I don't think...
No.
I can see a point where they'll just stop doing 3D. I can just see it happening. Unless they absolutely nail 3D without the glasses. And then, you know, then I think possibly...
I think they've nailed 3D.
Yeah, with glasses though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shitty, crappy Poundland glasses.
Yeah.
I just had an ice cream and I got the burps.
It's lovely ice cream.
It is nice. Yeah, the only films I've seen in the cinema in 3D was... What did I see with you and the guys?
X-Men.
X-Men 7. And...
When we did that thing to King.
Yeah.
Which we won't mention on camera.
No. X-Men 7 and The Hobbit 2.
I didn't see any of the Hobbit films in the cinema.
Why?
Did you watch them? Because first Hobbit film was rubbish. No, I think I did watch the first one in the cinema, and it was rubbish. I think I watched half of the second one, couldn't finish it because it was so rubbish, and I didn't watch the third one.
I think it should have been one film. If they'd have just made one film...
It may have been good then.
It was just unnecessarily strung out. I mean, the Hobbit book is smaller than all of the Lord of the Rings books, and they managed to make a film out of each one. And the Lord of the Rings, the first, you know, the 3 films, really don't have any, you know, negative points at all. I can't think of a single thing I dislike about the three Lord of the Rings films. They're just amazing, aren't they?
No, I can't. No, yeah, they're really good.
But the Hobbit...
Didn't think the CGI was up to scratch.
Yeah, it was just... I think what it was the Lord of the Rings films, the 3 Lord of the Rings films, you had big set pieces and big battles.
Yeah.
The Hobbit didn't really have that. It was more story driven. You know, it was more character driven, just smaller scale. And I think they tried to beef it up a bit, you know, and the big stupid fight in that bloody... I don't know if you saw that one. I can't even remember which one it is, but they were in the big hall fighting the dragon.
No, I didn't see it.
They fill this thing with gold, and the gold spills on him.
Oh, I think I do sort of remember that.
Oh, it was just shit. It was just, it was just stupid. You know, it was like farcical. It wasn't, you know, like the Lord of the Rings films. You've got people fighting on battlefields, and there's big boulders dropping on people's heads. And although it's a fantasy film, it had an element of reality about it. You know, you thought, okay, if these characters did exist, and those goblins existed, and dwarves and elves, this would probably be how they'd be fighting.
Dwarves still exist.
Oh, yeah. That's probably how dwarves fight then.
Yeah.
But the Hobbit, it was just stupid. They're floating in buckets on molten gold, just sitting in the bucket as it's floating around. Now, I didn't read all of the Hobbit book. I read about a quarter of the way through, and I never finished it for whatever reason. But I don't know. Was that in the book? Because it just makes no sense. It makes no sense.
But no. What was the worst ever film you saw in the cinema?
The worst film I saw in the cinema.
Or what's the worst film you've ever seen?
Have you seen Gattaca?
No, I've heard of it.
Oh, it's just beyond boring. It's beyond boring. It's like Jude Law and some other people, and I don't even know what they do. They were just walking around talking to each other, and it just pissed me off because nothing happens. It was just awful. It was awful. And then the second worst one, which I walked out the cinema, I was young, and apparently I should give it another go, but Eyes Wide Shut, have you seen that film with Tom Cruise? I think it's Eyes Wide Shut. Stanley Kubrick, I think, film.
What's it about?
I have no idea. I went to the cinema. I watched an hour of it. It was people in masks having sex, and I don't know. I thought I gotta go. I've gotta leave. So I just left. What about you? Worst film in the cinema you've ever seen? Worst film you've ever seen, full stop. Period.
Period.
It was a scar there. Like, right there.
You've only now noticed.
Yeah.
We've been friends for years and years and years.
What is it?
It's a scar.
Yeah, from what, douchebag?
I fell over running down my nans. Fell over and cut my eye. I'll show you a photo later.
I can see it. I don't need a photo.
Of when it was fresh.
Ah, right. Worst film ever.
Scary Movie 5, is it?
I don't even know how many they released.
It was,
Was it bad?
well, worst film I've ever seen. It's probably worst films, but that's the one that comes to mind.
Scary Movie 5.
The others are quite good. It's quite funny. Some of the beginning ones.
I think we went to the cinema in college years ago and watched the first one, but I don't remember it. But yeah, there's lots of rubbish films. What film have I been thinking about lately? I think about Donnie Darko a lot. You haven't seen all of that, have you?
Yeah, I'll have to watch it again though.
Because you were confused.
Yeah.
It was confusing. I didn't really understand what was going on the first time round.
Yeah. It's one of them films you have to watch twice, isn't it?
I think I've seen it about 3 or 4 times. It's good. It's just really good. It's a good idea, and it's bonkers, and it's really good. Cabin in the Woods 2. When's that coming out?
Never.
I don't know, there's things online about it.
They lose it, yeah, don't they? The big monster thing comes out.
James, this is a film. You can always work it out, right?
I don't want them to work it out. The first one was so perfect. Just leave it at that.
The first film was amazing. It would have to be a prequel, I guess, wouldn't it? Or set on Earth after the destruction. Then it'd be insane. Be like Terminator 2, how the Earth's all wrecked.
Yeah. You a big Tarantino fan?
I am. I grew up at just the right time. I was
Did you?
young and impressionable when his films were coming out, early 90s.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction, I think, was 1992, if I remember it.
The year I was born.
Was it? Or was it 1997? No, 92. Or 90. I don't really know. It was
No.
the early 90s, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fantastic film.
You didn't like the Kill Bill films, though?
I don't know why.
Because you were probably non-copus mentis as you were watching them. Being
I've watched...
fellatiated.
By who?
Your own arm.
Whilst watching Kill Bill.
All 2 of them, yeah.
I watched the first one twice and I just didn't like it.
You haven't seen the second one then, have you?
No, I've seen the second one once.
So you've seen them 3 times?
I've seen 2 films 3 times. Yeah.
You need to give it another try.
I'll give it another try.
They are great. They are.
I do love Tarantino films. Django was possibly... I'm going to say my favourite. I don't know.
Favourite film of all time?
No, favourite Tarantino film.
Mine would probably be...
I love Reservoir Dogs, so...
Yeah, Reservoir Dogs is excellent, but I never get the urge to watch Reservoir Dogs.
Don't you? It's on
No.
DVD in the house.
I know, yeah. I never think, oh, I really fancy watching Reservoir Dogs. I think I saw it 6 or 7 times when it came out. And we're obsessed with it for a bit because I studied film. I was in college and university. And then, yeah, sort of didn't...
No.
Yeah, never really fancied watching it since. Maybe I just watched it too much.
What's your favourite Tarantino film then?
I'd say probably Pulp Fiction. I'm going to
Yeah.
go boring and say Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction. The way I always look at the best films ever, so you're talking Gremlins, Back to the Future, the first 3 Indiana Jones films.
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, Shawshank Redemption. Donnie Brasco. My criteria for
Yeah.
giving it a perfect 10 is that if I was to make it I could not do anything different to make it better. So, for me,
Yeah.
the film cannot be made better, and then that's a perfect 10. So it would be all those classic films.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way you could do anything to make it better. I'd say Cabin in the Woods definitely scores a perfect 10 for me. I can't think of a single thing I could have done that would have made that film better. And the great thing when I watched Cabin in the Woods was that I didn't have a clue what it was about. I thought it was just a normal horror film, set in a cabin.
It's quite hard to watch films like that, though.
In what way?
Unless you got a friend to do it, having absolutely no clue.
Yeah, I just downloaded it, I think, on Netflix.
Yeah, downloaded it on Netflix.
Yeah, streamed it. So I streamed it on Netflix, and I just watched it, and I just thought, you scroll through Netflix. There is an actual word for it when you search through Netflix. There's like a Urban Dictionary's got a word where you just clicking, looking at things.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, like surfing Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just clicked it. I didn't even bother reading the thing. I clicked it, I watched it, and it was an amazing film. It was an amazing film.
Yeah, it was perfect for me. Oh, I tell you what, I'm thinking of one that I can't see how I would make it better.
You stink, by the way.
Thanks.
Please, continue. Great, continue.
The remake of The Evil Dead. What do you think?
That film is probably... I probably can't think of it how I would have made that any better. Yeah,
that was amazing.
Sorry, viewers, but I have to air out the car because James's arse absolutely reeks. Let's open the back ones as well. And I think we're done. You need a shit.
I'm fine.
No, you're not fine. You always say that. Right, okay, let's end it there then.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting chat about films, our favourites, our least favourites, the Avengers that just came out.
I think we'll watch the interview tonight.
Yes, I'd be happy to watch that. We'll have to see what Shoe Must Be Obeyed says. She's probably in bed.
Yeah.
In 2 days I find out some news, so I will keep you updated on that.
But you're going to tell them?
No, because not everybody knows.
Are we uploading the videos tonight?
Yeah. So it's good night from me.
And me.
It's good night from me.
And it's good night from me.
Good night. I think it's still recording.